This is Donald Trump's house, brother.
Are we ready to win?
A third knife-edge election in a row for the US.
Is Gen Z in the house?
More than 150 million people will vote.
Hello, Madison Square Garden.
But in this place, it's not only who you vote for that matters.
Please do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump.
Kamala, you're fired. Get out, get out.
It's where you live.
I think it's going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
It's time to sing a new song.
Let's go.
There are more than 3,000 counties or constituencies across America. The key battleground states are along the Sun Belt in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona and Nevada, and the so-called Blue Wall states of Wisconsin, Michigan and Pennsylvania. Within those states, there are pivot counties, places that chose Barack Obama and then flipped to Donald Trump. You watch them to find out how the national vote might go. In 2020, just 5 swung back to Joe Biden. They're called the Boomerang counties, and I've come to a crucial one in western Pennsylvania. On the shores of Lake Erie, Erie County has a population of around 270,000, similar size to Cork. Joe Biden won this area by only 1,400 votes, a margin of just 1%. It's really unusual what's happened here in recent years. Only a fraction of counties have swung from Democrat to Republican and back to Democrat. So what's the campaign like this time around? Which voters are both sides targeting? And what does the view from Erie tell us about this race?
Hi, it's Joel Natale Show. You're live on Talk Erie. Go ahead.
If you want to learn about Erie County, you talk to Joel.
It's going to be kitchen table issues, I think, versus character. And basically, it's Trump's character, either indictment or somebody who blows it off.
In recent days, Trump has very narrowly overtaken Harris in the polls in Pennsylvania. Joel Natale thinks he knows why.
The tenor of the Harris-Walz campaign, at least this week, has turned to Trump as a deranged narcissist and lunatic. I don't know if that's going to work, Louise. You know, because people experience Trump. They remember, for the most part, having more money in their pocketbook.
Pocketbooks matter. Like many places in the Rust Belt, Erie County is still transitioning away from its manufacturing heyday. There are green shoots, meds and eds they call the newer employers. But it's also home to many of the white working-class voters both parties have been competing over for years.
If I had to be pinned down to who has the mo, I'm going to say Trump right now, very slightly.
If Trump is to win, this is where he'll have to compete hardest. Under Friday night lights in Erie's suburbs, a local high school game. And despite the frenzy of campaigning, not everyone's mind is made up.
I don't want to say I didn't have a choice, but I'm kind of to the point where I don't really even know who I would like to vote for. Normally I go Democrat, but there's been times where I've went with the Republican, depending on, you know, what they stood for.
That's Anthony.
So this time around, what are you thinking?
Rush. Nakeem Abuzabiba on the tackle.
I just can't decide.
That's
the problem. I don't know.
Donald Trump says he can turn the economy around. You don't believe him?
Did he turn it around last time? For all we know, Trump will get the votes where he'll never have to step down as president until he dies. And then that'd be scary all by itself. We might as well put Hitler in office.
Sometimes I wish he would shut his mouth. He does say things that he shouldn't be saying. She's been in for 3.5 years, and what has she done?
In daylight, a different view of Erie's vast suburbs. This is Mill Creek, won by Trump in 2016 and Biden in 2020. And as you drive through the suburbs, you can really see the battle. You will see a house with a Harris Yard sign in their front garden, and right beside it, next door neighbour will have a Trump yard sign. And these suburbs are absolutely crucial. In 2020, Joe Biden did really well in the suburbs of Pennsylvania, better than Hillary Clinton did. And Kamala Harris has to do the same. Tyler Bell is the type of voter both parties are desperate to win this time around.
I've lived here my entire life, almost 32 years. I got married 7 years ago and I have 2 girls. You see everything on the rise, from houses, groceries, because prices are just going up and going up.
There could be a record gender divide in this election, but for many, it's hard to see past the bottom line.
I will be voting for Donald Trump. I just, again, think that he is what's best for my family, and essentially best for the country, hopefully.
You think that maybe if Donald Trump was in power, you might be paying less for things. Is that the calculation?
I sure would hope so.
These shelves tell a story. Pennsylvania's grocery prices saw the highest increase of any state over the last year.
A basic ground beef, our economy, our value, if you will, our value pack was retailing. We could retail it for $1.69 on promotion, and now we're typically $2.89 or $2.99 a pound on promotion. For the most part, they have stabilized, but you still see things trending up. I think a Trump presidency would be good. Would be good for our business. It was the last time.
I would like a pound of sandwich pepperoni, please. Sandwich pepperoni?
But there's no consensus among the aisles of Bellows.
As a matter of fact, I voted on October 14th when I was down at the courthouse, so I already put my ballot in.
So you did early voting for?
Harris. I have voted for candidates that were Republican because I thought that they were better than the people that were running that were Democrats.
So you're a swing voter in a swing county, in a swing state?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
So what's the main motivator this time around?
I just do not like Donald Trump.
Professor Joe Morris is Erie's best-known political scientist.
It's going to be an incredibly close election. It is as close as I have ever seen it in my 23 years of living here. The most important demographic in Erie County has always been the working class, blue-collar workers who get up in the morning and go to the shop and do their job. Unfortunately for the Democrats, those voters are no longer attached to them the way they used to be. They're up for grabs. If I had to pick 2 demographic groups for this to watch in this election, it would be that working class, understand which way they break, and also women who are highly motivated and energized because of the abortion debate.
Another day, another canvas. In Ryan Bizarro's office, Democrats from a local carpenters union are heading out for last-ditch campaigning.
What we have planned today is a get-out-the-vote effort with the Harris campaign, yes. Getting them to the polls, making sure they have a plan to vote.
Kamala Harris is at the top of a ticket that includes local candidates like Bizarro.
Every single precinct in Mill Creek Township is important. Mill Creek is generally how Mill Creek Township goes, Erie County goes. All right, so you've decided who you're voting for president?
Yes, I have.
All right. Kamala?
I will vote for her.
All right, well, I appreciate your support, and so does the vice president. Thank you so much for voting. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I'll do that.
So people are voting, again, their pocketbooks, their families, but I think people are also voting for sanity. You just heard from a Republican voter who rarely crosses over to vote for Democrats. Not only is he voting for me, he voted him and his wife. Both Republicans voted for Vice President Harris.
When we hear Kamala Harris attacking Donald Trump's personality, calling him a fascist, some people say that's evidence of panic in the Democratic campaign. Are you seeing that?
I think folks can Google what the definition of fascist, and it is absolutely Donald Trump. What people haven't seen Democrats do is fight fire with fire, and I think we're doing a great job this year at that, going back and attacking him for the person that he truly is.
The Democrats may have a better ground game, but Trump has star power, drawing a crowd even when he's not there in person. A campaign bus arrives with a team of polished surrogates to rally the troops.
I think people, they see the ads on TV all the time, and I think they do have an influence. But for the real Trump supporters, those people are going to vote for Trump no matter what. It's the independents, about 30,000 of them, that will make the difference in Erie County. If you can get the majority of them to go towards Trump, we're in great shape.
Both Harris and Trump have been to Erie in recent days. Other big names too. J.D. Vance made 2 visits.
And I want America to be a free country, not dependent on the Communist Chinese Party.
And Bernie Sanders arrived to canvass for the vice president.
Thank you, Erie! It's an honor to be here with you today.
Democrats at the rally hope a shy female vote might tip the scales in Kamala Harris's favor.
I think there's a lot of people who are quiet. I call it the quiet majority. I think it's going to show up. My best friend lives in Pittsburgh. She lives in a part of Pittsburgh that's Republican, favors Trump. She's afraid to put signs in her yard.
When he talks, one of the biggest responses was to women's right to control their own bodies, and that was one of the biggest cheers here. So yes, I do think that there are many people that will vote for Kamala because of that.
This campaign, more than ever, is about energizing the base and getting sympathetic voters to the polls.
Okay, thanks.
Senator Sanders, Irish television, RTE.
Pennsylvania's where the action is. If Kamala Harris is going to win, she's going to have to win here in Pennsylvania. And I'm trying to motivate people to go out, knock on doors, do everything possible.
Voter apathy is the great unknown, and it's apt and maybe telling that there are as many Halloween decorations in Erie as political signs.
This election is going to be won and lost in places like here. Donald Trump will have to run up the score with working class voters in smaller counties like this one, because the Democrats are going to do well in the urban centres of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. So on election night, keep an eye out for Erie County, because on the previous form, whoever wins here wins the White House.